is now 5:30, and we're going to begin our council meeting this evening. We're going to start with our public speakers, and these are our public speakers who are speaking on agenda items. Our first speaker is Jimmy Cunningham. Jimmy Cunningham is speaking on agenda item number 5. He's speaking for agenda item number 5. Is Mr. Jimmy Cunningham here? Okay, we'll move on to our next speaker, Dr. Cedric Rice. Dr. Rice is also speaking on agenda item number 5, and he's speaking in support of agenda item number 5.
Good evening, Mayor Washington, City Council, and citizens of Pine Bluff. I stand in support of resolution number 5, of Group Violence Intervention Director. When I read this resolution, I thought this would be very, very good for the city of Pine Bluff. When I looked at the partnerships, when I looked at the buy-in with the local school districts as well as with our law enforcement, I thought about other programs across the country that have been successful, as in Alexandria, Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia, Charleston, South Carolina, Kansas City, Kansas, Albany, New York, Mobile, Alabama, and also even in Anchorage, Alaska. Most of those programs and those directions of those programs are designed to uplift the youth, to fight gun violence, fight gang violence, and combat teen violence. Most of those programs and in that scope of work also had 4 major tenets, which was prevention, deterrence, compliance, and detection. But the big picture was those positions, they wanted to uplift the youth with positive outcomes with youth engagement. I'm also hoping in this position, if it passes and with the support of City Council, that we can come up with a youth violence strategic plan. So again, I just stand in support of resolution number 5, and I believe there's similar language in resolution number 6, so I stand in support of both of those. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Rice. That ends our public speaking, so at this time we're going to call our meeting to order. We're going to open with our invocation, and our invocation will be delivered by Reverend Judy Rudd of Lakeside United Methodist Church. I'd like you to stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you pray with me? Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful and kindle in us the fire of your love. Grant your wisdom and discernment for those, Lord, who will be making decisions. Help them to hear with the ears of your heart. Help them to speak with your love. Holy God, you know the needs of our community. You know the places that we have stumbled and fallen. And Lord, you know that you can pick us up. So we call on you this evening to show us the way and to give those here who are gathered here, and those who are speaking, and those who are listening, and those who are making decisions, the strength, the courage, and the boldness to carry out your will. It's in the holy and precious name of Jesus that we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, we will have our roll call. Reverend Rudd, thank you so very much for that most beautiful prayer. We appreciate you. At this time, we'll have a roll call from our city clerk.
Councilmember Mays.
Here.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr. Here. Councilmember Brown Jr. Here. Councilmember Lockett.
Here.
Councilmember Whitfield. Here. Councilmember Alexander. Councilmember Brown Sr. Here. Councilmember Shaner.
Everybody is present.
Full quorum.
We also have a copy.
Second.
Mr. Parker moved and seconded that the minutes of the last meeting be approved. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving into our committee reports, our first report will come from Ways and Means. Councilmember Mays with our substitute, Councilmember Brown Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. Ways and Means met just before the council meeting tonight. We have a total of 3 budget adjustments. First budget adjustment comes from the city attorney's office. Total budget adjustment is $2,500. This is coming from within their budget, and it's going to office supplies. I move we approve this budget adjustment.
It's been properly moved and second that we approve a budget adjustment coming from the Office of the City Attorney in the amount of $2,500. The floor is open for questions. Councilmember Brown Senior. Yes, sir.
Well, am I to believe that for the rest of the year, we will get a budget adjustment from every department?
Not necessarily.
I don't know, Mayor. It just seems like to me that they feel like they need to say, okay, we need this and we need that, and so we do it. I just thought I'd throw that in because that's what's happening. I like when we do our budgets in November to December, and even at the latest in January, I like for us to get close to that budget, and it's up to those managerial office people to regulate themselves to be in accordance with the budget that we align with them in November or December or sometime when we late in January.
We do encourage all of our department heads to work within the confines of their budget. But there are times when there are some unforeseen expenses which cause budget adjustments to have to be made.
But Mayor, I certainly understand that, but everybody that asks for a budget adjustment will have some kind of reason why they need it. And that's all I'm saying. I'm saying that, it's no need for us to do a budget. We just play month by month if everybody's gonna come in and say we want this, we want that. Budgets mean something. It means that we are regulating our taxes for the year, and I believe that we ought to live within those budgets.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, let's vote.
Question. For the matter of record, I need to know if this went before the administration committee.
This budget
It
adjustment
doesn't
shouldn't
have
have to go before the administration.
It's not a salary
Okay.
change or anything.
That's your question.
If it went before the administration committee.
And the response was, this does not have to go before the administration committee. That was the response.
Use your mics. I think the mics need to be
I'm
leveled
not
out.
worried about whether it goes before the administration committee. I'm more about following the budget that we set up in November and December.
That's what I'm more concerned about. Wherever it comes from, it doesn't matter. It's just that we need to live within the budget that we set.
Any more questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Next budget adjustment we have is from the fire department. Total budget adjustment is $167,723.64. This is coming from various line items from within their department, and it's going to mainly go to a repair and maintenance building as well as gas, oil, and lubricants. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve a budget adjustment coming from the fire department in the amount of $167,723.64. The floor is open for discussion.
Mayor, I would like to say, if I can speak, I'd like to say our fire department, Chief Howell, they're doing a great job. You know, the time frame from them putting it out of fire, if you see them moving around in town with a fire car, stop and put a clock on the time it takes to put out the fire. Those guys, ladies and gentlemen, are doing a very good job. And you all know that. But the citizens need to know that as well. They probably see them as well, but they put their lives in danger for 15, 20 minutes to put out a fire. And if I see them and I got a chance, I stop and watch them in action. So I just want to commend the fire.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Third and final budget adjustment comes from the transit department. Total budget adjustment is $58,554. This is coming from within their department. It's from repair and maintenance auto going to various line items within the department, main one being for gas, oil, and lubricants, and also operating expense. Move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve a budget adjustment coming from the Transit Department in the amount of $58,554. The floor is open for discussion. And here again, we can see that most of this money is going for gas, oil, and lubes, and that's something that nobody could predict last year when we were setting budget that the fuel would be as high as it is now. Hearing no comments or questions, let's vote. All in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Mayor, that concludes Ways and Means.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Next, we'll move to ordinances and resolutions. That's Council May's department. That will be coordinated tonight by Councilmember Hope.
We have seven agenda items. We have one ordinance, agenda item number 1, which we will complete tonight, and 6 resolutions, which will be completed tonight. And that concludes ordinance and resolution.
Thank you, Councilmember Hope. Economic and Community Development, Councilmember Brown Sr.
Alderman Brown, can you speak to the mic? I can't hear you.
I have no report tonight, but I'm definitely looking for things in Hartford to get better or to improve with our restaurants and our shopping places, because we're getting tax dollars from the casino, but we also need to get tax dollars from the restaurants and the shopping areas, and not only would that be good for our taxpayers, but it will also give the people that live here or that come through here a sense of a quality of life that we may want to stay here a day or 2 or 10 or 20 years. So that's basically my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. Public Health and Welfare, Councilmember Shiner.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Health and Welfare met on September the 8th. During that meeting, Pine Bluff Transit reported that they have been notified that there are buses available now, new buses available, that should be ready for spring of 2023. So they should be able to get a couple new buses in their fleet. Also, the Jefferson County Health Unit reported that they are now offering COVID vaccinations for infants and children 6 months to 5 years of age, 5 to 11 years of age, and 12 years of age and up, including adult vaccinations and boosters. Also, they will be having their first community flu clinic scheduled for September 26th at the Rosetta Wilkins Jefferson County Health Unit, located at 3801 South Hickory Street, from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And they will be administering flu and COVID vaccinations at the local schools in Jefferson County in the month of October 2022. Also, from the cemetery, we've gotten quotes for the columbaria, and I think we sent those out in email, but we'll discuss those during our next meeting. We should be next, it'll be the first Thursday in October. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Shiner. Our next report will come from Public Works, Councilmember Whitfield.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works have not had a meeting. We will be meeting on this coming Wednesday, 21st at 11 a.m. Be in person and by Zoom. Hopefully, we will be discussing some budget issues. I know it's getting close to October, and it's time to discuss the budget. So we want to put everybody online. I think, Mayor, you and your administration may already be looking over the budget, but I think the council needs to be aware that it's coming close to that time. I think one of the problems we have, even with the budget adjustments, I'll say to my beloved co-counsel in the third ward, that at budget cycle, when they come to us asking for $50,000 in IT, we cut it to 25, and then by the end of the year, they need to come back. So I think that's some of the problem, and hopefully this year, the tax revenue will go up and we can increase some of that, because that's why we get caught up in this budget adjustment, because we always having to slice it. Also, Mayor, we will be discussing the audit report that this council voted for Park and Rec. I've not received anything in reference to the RFQ. Hopefully that it has been put out. And I guess, I don't know now if I can ask if has it been put out yet. I have not seen it in the paper and I might have missed it.
One of the things I asked you to give me was exactly what you'd be looking for, and you said you'd get something to me.
Okay.
And I don't remember getting anything.
Mayor, that's on me, because let me tell you what I did. I asked Alderwoman Alexander. We looked over some stuff and we had conference, and I asked her to deliver that to the. It's been emailed.
Did you send it to me? I'm sorry?
She said, "Will you respond?" Go ahead.
No, I was saying Mr. Phelps responded to it. We sent it almost 2 weeks ago.
You sent the items that you wanted to look for in that all?
We sent the RFQ.
I think what you asked for is what we sent to you, so you can word it up the way you need to
Well,
do it.
William and I will get together tomorrow, and we'll move it. I'm like, you send it, I don't remember seeing it.
I know it was discussed with the municipal league because when I called them to clarify, they had a copy and we addressed some concerns and we made those changes to it.
And
then we sent
they
it
did
over.
call me also after
Okay.
they talked to you,
Uh-huh.
but I still hadn't
Okay.
seen it.
Okay, yeah, that's where it's at. I'm one that
Well,
believes that.
we'll get on top of it first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay. Yeah, we're blessed to have two people that work at the bank, Alexander and Holcomb, and I don't know banking business, I talk to people that do. So that's what that is, Mayor, so that's already been sent, so if you all can look at that tomorrow, and then they can, you or Mr. Fields, we'll have the, time to come, or Zoom in and let us know that they're taken care of. Be very appreciative.
We can do that.
Another thing we will be discussing on tomorrow, on Wednesday, we received a letter that the mayor put out in reference to Ms. Allen. I forgot the name of the program, first board reading program. Living Grace, and December 31st. And I think hopefully we can find another building that would be suitable, that maybe she can move out immediately. And that way, because at the end of the year, during Thanksgiving time and Christmas time, the need for our citizens goes up. So hopefully, at the meeting, I have a building that I've looked at, and I've talked to one of the committee members, and I reached out to Alderman Holcomb. I've not talked to him yet, but we'll discuss it after this meeting, and we'll be bringing something to the council, hopefully at the next meeting, to hopefully resolve that, with the understanding that we'll provide the building and she'll take care of her own utilities.
When you say we'll provide the building, do you mean we'll pay rent for the building, or we'll purchase the
No,
building?
it's a city-owned building. It's a city-owned building that we're looking at allowing her to utilize to feed the citizens of Pine Bluff
Did
from.
you receive the letter?
Yes, I got the letter.
Okay, the letter that we sent her.
Yeah, but I'm
And
thinking
that was
if we can
given
get
her
this.
until the end of the year.
Yeah, but if we can get the building, then she won't need the end of the year. She should be able to utilize what she has, the resources she has, and go from there. So hopefully she can be gone October the 1st, gone out the next council meeting when we meet. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do that. We will bring it up at Wednesday meeting, the location that we're looking at. It'll be open for discussion at that time, and that'll give me an opportunity to talk to Alderman Holcomb. I've already talked to Alderman Shaner. So I wanted to enlighten the committee members first, and then after I talk to Holcomb, Mayor, if need be, I will send you and all the other council members what we're looking at doing. So, I had one other issue, but I did talk to the mayor in reference to park and rec with the security, and my concern was the officers, the city officers not being dispatched there, and but I'm comfortable now that that opportunity was given, and they just could not find anybody, so I'm okay with that. So that ends my report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Can I say something on that? It was a.
Excuse me. This is time
Sure.
for reports and.
I know it's we
In
just said the,
reference to
park
that
and-
report.
Right. I was at the, park and rec out there, this weekend, and there was a piece of metal sticking up. And I pulled it up out the ground, it was tearing people's tires up.
Where was
At
this?
Regional, at the park out there, at the park. And,
Okay, that was a piece of metal.
yeah, sticking up, and I got it out the ground, and it was pretty bad.
Okay.
I mean, I pulled it up. It was in the right of way, coming around park. So if you all see things like that, call Park and Rec or somebody, because it's a liability for the city.
Okay.
If you would, I pulled it up. I got it in my truck. I wouldn't show it to y'all, but I will in time. It wasn't right. It wasn't good.
And we applaud you for picking that up. I know I pick things up on a regular basis when I see something hazardous, if it's something that I can pick up. But
It
we
was
appreciate you
something
for-
screwed in the ground, so I had to have a
Okay.
wrench to get it out. So,
So thank
if
you
you
so
had a wrench,
much.
it wouldn't have got it. But some guys helped me too.
That ends Councilmember Whitfield's Public Works report. Moving on to Development and Planning, Councilmember Lockett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Development and Planning Committee met on September the 7th, about 1 o'clock. We passed one ordinance to close a portion of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues onto the council with a due pass. We referred a resolution providing for a placement of cost of correcting certain nuisances on the tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such to the council with a due pass. And lastly, we referred a resolution declaring certain houses, buildings, and structures as nuisances and ordering their abatement. That concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Lockett, you have a memorandum before you of some that is being requested to be removed. It's code enforcement present,
Okay.
but you have a memorandum before you
Okay.
requesting removal.
Now this, let me see. Okay, I'm not, this is the first I've seen this, Madam City Clerk, but, Madam City Attorney, do you have the memorandum? Okay. Okay. So at the time when we address this, we'll make a motion to amend the resolution
Yes,
as presented by code enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Madam City Clerk. That concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Lockett. Traffic and Aviation, Councilmember Alexander.
Thank you, Mayor. No report, and I will let the clerk know when we schedule our next meeting. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Alexander. Administration, Councilmember Holton Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. The Administration Committee met Wednesday, September 14th at 9:30 a.m. with a do not pass on agenda items number 5 and agenda items number 6. And I do have a special announcement for everyone to place on their calendar on November the 5th, which is a Saturday, the first Saturday of November. We will have a Ward 1 community block party carnival style. That will be Ward 1 community block party carnival style. We'll have more information on that. So bring your families out, bring everyone out. We'll have food trucks and all that. That would be Saturday, November the 5th, Ward 1 Block Party Carnival style, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. All right.
Where's that gonna be at?
Right now, we're looking at Pines Mall in front of the Walmart parking lot.
Finish your report?
That's good, my report.
Thank you, Councilman Perkins. Public Safety, Councilmember Brown Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Safety met on Wednesday, September 7th, 1:30. From the courts, I got a report that the amnesty program that was scheduled for the week of the 19th has been postponed, and that will be sometime in October, and so I don't have a date for that just yet. On animal control, he stated that he started the Best Friends program on September the 15th. They assist with adoption and training for the animal control officers. Also given $50,000 towards vaccination of dogs and cats. He also mentioned that having 2 kennel techs would help him out a lot. It would keep the ACOs on the street more, and also keep the shelter clean. That was something that he mentioned possibly for next budget. Chief Howell passed out his monthly report at the last council meeting. Said the fire department has been participating in back-to-school activities. He did walkthroughs at all schools. The fire department did. Currently staffed at 85, 7 vacancies, and he has 2 members at Camden for training. For those that are interested in trying to join the fire department, testing is occurring throughout the year, so there's not just once or twice a year like it used to be. Now they can test it almost any time. Let's see. We had firefighters that were recognized at our last council meeting. And also, there was a moment of silence on September the 11th at each fire station at the flagpole at 8:58. Chief Richardson of the police department, she's mentioned that they're adopting a model policy with the Arkansas Chiefs Association to get ready for accreditation, and also a peer support policy. And we have 3 of those peer support on staff right now. We're looking to have 5 by the end of the month. And we're going to join a national organization associated with that, and that program helps officers in need of counseling. She also discussed a software called IA Pro. It's a professional standard software, and so basically that puts all of the records in one place for easier access for one database. And also the mayor discussed the full-time coordinator for the the GVI program, and that is on our agenda for tonight, and that's agenda items 5 and 6. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Before we go into ordinances and resolutions, we're going to pause for our announcements. I do have a list of announcements. There's one announcement that's not on my list, and that is we're coming up on the 2nd anniversary of the death of Detective Kevin D. Collins. To memorialize that anniversary this year, we're going to have a naming of the Kevin D. Collins Center, that is the old library, on October 5th. We're going to do the unveiling of the naming of the building. The building is still under renovation. Once the renovation is completed, we'll have another opening of the building itself. So that's going to be outside in the courtyard here at City Hall at 11 o'clock. I believe we said 11 o'clock on October 5th. So we would like for all of you to attend that celebration or that recognition day, Memorial Day, if you can. We have some young people here who competed in July, actually July 23rd and 24th, in Lafayette, Louisiana. And this group is the Aziz Boxing Club of the Pine Bluff Community Center. Many of them won recognitions that night or earned recognition. 11 boxing athletes competed in this Southern Association boxing tournament. The boxing coaches are, and if they are here, I'd like for them to stand and come to the front. Dominique Aziz and Dana Early. Dominique is coming. And we see that some of the young boxers are here. So we have some presentations that we'd like to give them. Would you like to have words in reference to your competition and what you all do with the Aziz Boxing Club at the Pine Bluff Community Center? And when we say Pine Bluff Community Center, we're referencing the old Earl building, which is now the renovated Pine Bluff Convention Center.
First, I want to thank God, and second, I want to thank Steve Glover for allowing us to be in the Pine Bluff Community Center and join this partner. What I do is I work with children. I'm a minister at Cherry Street and in Zion Church, and I work with children that's on the street. I try to turn that anger into something else positive. So what I do is work with kids and get boys and girls. I want that to be noted. We work with boys and girls all around in the Jefferson County area.
Thank you, Mr. Aziz. I'm going to ask you to stand in the middle of the floor, and we're going to call the names of your boxers. And as we call your name, I want you to come down and stand beside your coach, William, or let me see who do I have in here, can help us. You all will get them together. Okay, our first boxer that we're recognizing tonight is DeAndrea Aziz. Did I pronounce that right? DeAndrea Aziz is from Dumas, and she didn't make it tonight. Okay, we're going to give you her recognition, her certificate, and her gift. So let's give a round of applause for DeAndrea Aziz. Now maybe I need help with this pronunciation as well. Ayawe Aziz. Okay, Ayawe is here. Come on down. I tell you, we don't have any Frank Shirleys and Marys. I need help with these names. They've changed even since I left the school, Miss Lancelot. Takori Carter. Am I pronouncing that or not? Because you spell different. Takori Carter, come on down.
All right.
King McCoy. I can pronounce King, I can spell King. Come on down, King. King McCoy. These boxers are learning how to rechannel some of that energy that they have, making it positive and productive. Aiden Muhammad. Let's put some on this other side to balance it out. Devin Nelson. Is Devin here? Okay, why don't you take Devin's coach? All right. Krista Owens. Okay, Krista's not here. Now the following, all of these won championship belts in their weight division. So let's give a big round of applause for these young men who were successful in winning championship belts in their weight division. Thank you all so very much. Now, you all scoot back to your seats, and we hope you enjoy your certificates and the gifts that you'll find in those bags. Congratulations, and make sure you continue to do those positive things that make you successful in life. You want a picture with them? All right, let's come back up and get the picture. I guess I'm rushing to get back into what we're doing. Let's come back down. If the council want to take pictures with them?
Not necessarily. They should get some, what's the guy in the back? Some of this will record their trophy. Who's the guy in the back right there? Huh? Get him up here.
Now, I think the silver next.
We got one more back there, Mayor.
Are those the ones who are in this one? No, I have another list of those who won silver medals. I have 7 on my list that won belts. So who's the one that won? Amir, come on down. What's Amir's last name? Okay, Amir's name is not on my list. I had 7. I should have had 8. Amir, we're sorry that we missed your name, but that doesn't make you any less important. So come on down here. You're just as special and just as important these winners who won the belt. Now, young lady, did you win, are you a Zeeks?
No, I was going to take a picture.
Okay, very good. All right, let's balance our.
Go to the other side.
Shift over there.
There you go.
Why don't everybody take the mask off? Don't let them run up here.
Commercial, one more.
Now, wait just a minute. Now let me have it. Everybody, boxing. Are they smiling? Audience, is everybody smiling? Boxing. We're happy in Pine Bluff. And everybody know how happy we are and how successful we're becoming. Right here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I like it when kids have manners. They said thank you. And I think that's one of those courtesies that people forget so much this day and time. So they're getting some good training. We had some people here visiting us today from Russellville, Arkansas. And for most of them, it was their first time ever coming to Pine Bluff. And after we had that visit with them, gave them a brief tour of what some of the things that we're doing, they said Pine Bluff is nothing like what they thought it was. It's much better. So these boys going through the boxing and the winning the tournaments and being taught the manners is also depositing quality character traits in the individuals coming forth from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Coach, we had some who won silver medals. Those winners were of the championship belts in their weight division. Next, we have the coach, are any of the others here, coach, setting those down, coming back up. Deshaun Allen won a silver medal. Come on down, Deshaun. Put that smile on your face as you run down. This is a good accomplishment, Deshaun. Caden Crutchfield. It's Caden Crutchfield here. Okay. Rashad Muhammad. Okay. And Amir Oliver. He won what? He won the belt, so he shouldn't be on the silver list. The belt list. Okay, so I think we did get him. All right. So that was the mistake. So I had 7. It should have been 8. Okay, let's get a picture with. Do we have others? Okay. So let's give a big hand for Deshaun Allen, who won a silver medal. When we remodeled the Pine Bluff Community Center, we remodeled the entire facility, which included 3 buildings. That was the main building, the basketball gym, and the boxing gym. We wanted to make sure that we were putting value into those buildings so that they could offer services to our kids. But we can't have services offered if we don't have volunteers. So let's give a big round of applause to Mr. Aziz for his service there. He works at the public library all day. He volunteers with our kids in the evening. So, Mr. Aziz, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. So that concludes our announcements for this evening. We're going to move into our proposed ordinances and resolutions. Councilmember Holcomb presiding.
Agenda item number 1, an ordinance to close a portion of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues.
Whereas a petition was duly filed with the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas to close the west 120 feet of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues. And whereas, after proper notice as required by law, the city has heard all persons desiring to be heard on the question and has ascertained that the west 120 feet of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues and has been heretofore been dedicated to the public use as a public alley, and that the public interest and welfare will not be adversely affected by the closing of said alley. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas hereby releases, vacates, and abandons all its rights together with the rights of the public generally, except those specifically set forth below, and into the portion of the alley right-of-way designated as follows. The west 120 feet of the east-west alley located between lots 2 and 3 of block 52, Dan Hill, and Owen Edition of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 2. A copy of the ordinance being certified by the city clerk shall be filed in the office of the recorder of Jefferson County and recorded in the deed of records of the county. Section 3, that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of the conflict.
Suspend the rules, place this ordinance up for its second reading.
Second, that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr. And Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
An ordinance to close a portion of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues.
Suspend the rules, place this ordinance up for its third and final reading.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr. And Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
An ordinance to close a portion of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that an ordinance to close a portion of the east-west alley located east of Poplar Street between 9th and 10th Avenues be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor of this ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance approved.
Agenda item number 2, a resolution providing for placement of costs of correcting certain nuisance on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such.
Whereas ACA Section 1454903.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It is moved and properly second that a resolution providing for placement of cost of correcting certain nuisances on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Lockett, this is the house.
Yes, ma'am.
This relate to this resolution?
Excuse me.
No,
I think number 3.
that's gonna be,
Number three. Number three?
I think this is gonna be number
Okay.
3.
All right.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, but resolution number 2 is more or less related to grass cutting and demolition.
I hadn't had a chance to look at this, it was on the table.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hold on just a second. No, I think this is the right one. I think you're correct, Mayor, because this is dealing with funding. So we should make a motion to amend resolution number 2 and remove the following names that are on this memorandum. Rabbit Key LLC, Royal, Patricia Ann Royal, and Michael and Patricia Zillerman.
Zellmer.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Would it make a lot of sense to just pull this if we incorrect on it? You gonna mess around and move some names in the wrong places?
No, I think we can, the city attorney has this memorandum. I think what we gotta do now, did we pass this?
We passed it.
We passed it?
We did pass.
So,
We need to pull.
what do you
this one.
think, Madam City Attorney? Because the problem I have with it is, it only appeared on my desk today. I didn't have any forewarning that this was coming, so I didn't have a real good understanding that the resolution that passed the committee was being amended.
But the best thing to do is pull this one. The best thing to do is pull 3, and then if necessary corrections, bring 2 back and put that corrections on 2. But like she just said, we've already passed 2, so you can't move it, you can't correct anything on 2 because it's already passed.
So it's been suggested,
by co-counsel here that we could expunge the vote, make a motion to expunge the vote, and then vote to amend it.
Okay, I make a motion to expunge the vote on resolution number 2.
Second.
Okay, do we need a roll call on that one?
yes.
Okay. It has been moved and second that we expunge the vote on this particular resolution. I'm calling it resolution number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays,
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr.,
Aye.
and Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Okay, vote expunged.
Now,
Move to
the necessary corrections need to be made for 2.
Move to amend, someone move to amend.
Motion to amend
Who's making that motion? to amend?
resolution.
Anybody can do it. You
Lockett.
can-
Yeah,
Lockett
motion
did
to
it.
amend resolution number 2.
Second.
It's been moved that the resolution number 2 be amended so
To
that
remove the following
to
properties.
remove the following properties: Rabbit Key LLC, Royal, Patricia Ann, Zelma, Michael, and Patricia.
Second.
It's a moved and properly second.
Yeah, that's
That we
correct.
remove the 3 following properties from resolution number 2. Rabbit Key LLC, Ross, Patricia Ann, Zelma, Michael, and Patricia. Okay. The floor is open for discussion.
Yes, Mayor. Tell me something. Tell me something. How many letters are these people given before we place it on this list?
Well, we go through this process religiously. They're given, I know at least 3.
3? I mean,
But
they
they get multiple warnings before they get to this point.
I know if some see their name on there, call me. Now, is it 3?
But council member, this is just general standard routine.
I understand.
So we've been doing it the same way for,
But if I see somebody's name, you know, that I know, just from the ward, I'd like them to know. I'm just saying.
and I applaud you for calling them.
Well, they call me. I call them. They call me, and they, you know.
I thought you said when you see somebody's
Well,
name.
I have. Yeah. So.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor
We voting on what?
on the revision?
On 2.
Yes.
Are we still going, we gonna throw 3 away? What are we
On the
gonna do?
resolution as amended, that's what we're voting on.
We're voting on the resolution as amended.
Not,
This
Can we
is a
vote, Mayor?
different one. So just
All
right now
in
we're
favor
on
of the
2.
resolution as amended, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution as amended, approved.
Okay, now we're gonna do number 3.
Agenda item number 3, a resolution declaring certain houses, buildings, and/or structures as nuisance and ordering their abatement.
Whereas the city council.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that a resolution declaring certain houses, buildings, and/or structures as nuisances and ordering their abatement be approved. The floor is open for discussion.
Madam Mayor, I just want to put a clarification. Resolution number 2 was putting cost on the books for certain services that the city provided. Ordinance number 3, which we are voting on, places structures on a list and order their abatement. So they're different. One is about money and the other one is about abatement.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Yes, I see some names from the 4th Ward, and I'll follow up, make sure everything is good. Just letting you all know.
Well, this was in your packet, so I think maybe you should have done that before tonight.
I know, I understand, and I did, but if I got to follow back up, I already talked to them already, but I just want to make sure before I'm gonna call them tonight, because they already talked to them. I'm talking to you all as well. I'll make sure that they got an understanding of what's going on. They're senior citizens in the 4th Ward.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other questions? If no more discussion, all in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution approved.
Agenda item number 4, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Naples Environmental Services for asbestos abatement services at the former Southeast Middle School.
Whereas asbestos abatement is needed in the city-owned facility known as the Southeast Middle School, located at 2001 South Ohio Street in the city. And whereas after soliciting proposals from interested vendors, the firm of Naples Environmental Services provided the most competitive proposal to perform the work, and an agreement with the company should be authorized. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City Council of Arkansas, the mayor is authorized to execute an agreement with Naples Environmental Services for asbestos abatement services at Southeast Middle School, 2001 South Ohio Street, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, consistent with the attached 3-page proposal and the terms outlined therein and otherwise standard in the field for work of this nature.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that a resolution authorizing an agreement with Naples Environmental Services for asbestos abatement services at the former Southeast Middle School be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Whitfield.
Thank you, Mayor. I talked to the sponsor of this, and
Can you talk up?
yeah, I talked to the sponsor of this piece of legislation and said I would support it, but I got a question here. It's on page 103 under the asbestos abatement. It's got something underlined in it that kind of bothers me there. The abatement of ACM not identified in the project specification, or they may be present in the wall cabinet or pipe space. It's not included in the cost provided above. That, I don't know, that kind of, I didn't see that underlying statement till just now. I guess I missed that when I did go through the packet, but I missed that part of it. What happens if there's some asbestos located there? What type of money would we be talking about and put in to remove that? That's only pick up. I don't want to think I said something I don't want to do it, but I didn't.
If that was a known factor, they would have assessed a figure to that, but that's an unknown. So they're saying that there may not be, and more than likely in a building of that structure, a structure of that nature, there probably isn't, but they put that in there just in case. So there's no way that we could determine that. We're just going to hope and pray that if there is any, it's not much. But we don't know that. But those are things that they encounter once the demolition may start. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I would like to know about how much, if they found something about how much it would cost, but.
They could know that is to tear the building down. I mean, they won't know until they, and we're talking about buildings, many walls. So there's no way that they can know that prior to. There's no way they could give you a figure if that happens. So we hope that that doesn't happen. They said in many cases, they usually don't find anything, but they have to put that in there to cover themselves in case they do. And I will tell you this. I wouldn't think that it would be all that much because, as I said before, the cost that was quoted for the abatement was much lower than I ever thought it would be. So I was pleased to see the 63 for a school that size and that many buildings. I think we have about 5 or 6 buildings over there. Councilmember Brown,
Thank you very much. I certainly hope that Whitfield is not through with his argument, but in a notation to his argument, or what he was thinking, and that is correct. I've been on this council before, and some people have done the same thing, companies have done the same thing, doing the Joe Thomas building. They put monies in there that and they come back and got even more because they say they didn't see something. I'm saying that we could be possibly setting ourselves up for some of the same thing. What should have happened is that when you give us that $68,000, right?
$68,000. When you give us that $68,000, if you've been in business long enough, you have an approximate figure of what could be behind the building that you didn't put into estimate, so we would know. But right now, we don't know. That estimate may be twice what we are already paying, and I just think that we should have known what that possibly could be. But what we do is just like, okay, in Pine Bluff, we could just say something and it'll pass on over and nobody says anything. And that's what I don't want to be a part of, just passing things because
it sounds good or we didn't pay a lot of attention to it. I think that it's very important and vital that we know in an approximate figure what it could cost. So we can pass this or vote on it or wait on it. But I think we need to know. It's just, we're professionals. We're in a municipal situation. And it's dealing with tax dollars. And I think that we should know before we say yes, because we have been through this with the Joe Thomas building. If I ask some witnesses if they know what we had to deal with.
I mean, it was some simple things with the air conditioning, getting a leak, some broken glass or something that they should have known if you were professionals, but we had to pay out. So with that experience from me, I'm very cautious about what we're about to do right now. And I just think it should be more clarified.
You know,
well, if we do not move forward because of that
Mayor,
clause, we would never tear the building down because there is no way that they can tell us whether there's anything behind hidden walls without tearing the building down, without demolishing the building. They will never know that. There's no way that they can give you a figure. And you're saying if we are professionals. Yes, we are professionals. And we still have to know and take into consideration there are some things that are going to be unknowns.
But Mayor, since you and I are interjecting here, but if you've been in business, you ought to know the size of the room and what could be the worst or the best, or the best or the worst, or the highest or the lowest possible. It should be something there for the people. I mean, he could open it up and say it's more than your first estimate. We need to know that. I mean, because that's what we get trapped at.
You know, may I speak, Mayor? May I speak?
Councilmember Mays.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I read over this, and I saw where Alderman Brown Sr., they voted no on coming out of committee, and Ms. Alexander, if I'm not mistaken, you all voted no coming out of committee. Am I right?
We voted no last time it was on the agenda. That wasn't the committee vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're talking about another agenda item that they voted no coming out of committee.
Well,
and that's later. That's further down on the agenda.
Well, this is what I got. I wrote the notes on it, so. Okay.
I have a question and a statement. This is just for abatement, not demolition, correct?
Correct.
Is it normal to have abatement totally separate before demos, since you said we really won't know what's in the walls until they tear it down?
When they get into it, that means if there are some in the cavities when they tear it down, they won't encounter that. They're not going to touch that. Mm-hmm. If there happen to be some in there, that will be something that we'll have to deal with later, because they can only abate what they see right now, and we're hoping that there aren't any in those wild cavities. And so you have to, that you see on the outer surface, you have to abate that before demolition. That's your phase 1 abatement. It has to be abated. Then if they encounter other asbestos, they're letting you know if there is other asbestos encountered during demolition, this cost does not include that. So like I said, we hope we don't see any, but they're doing what they tested and what's exposed, and what they were, that they will remove is this cost. But when the demolition crew comes in, if there's some more found within pipes, and some of these pipes are concealed in walls, then they're letting you know that they don't cover that cost.
Okay, and that makes sense, but I still can't support this resolution because nothing has changed since the last time it was on the agenda. I would just like to see a full scope of work with the estimated cost for this property, so that we'll kind of know what we have to budget and the timeline. I just don't feel comfortable piecemealing a project. So I would like a list of, with this asbestos abatement, the demolition, the dirt work, and whatever work needs to be done, so I will know how much money we'll possibly have to spend, what resources are out there, because I know you all are supposed to be meeting with someone, and so I still don't feel comfortable supporting this resolution. Thank you.
You see, that's what I was saying. I knew you had voted no coming out of committee. I just wanted to know why. That's what I was asking.
And this company did give us a kind of a reduced price. They told us it's just going to be good for a few days because they were really trying to help us out. We were trying to pass this so that we could move forward. We are having another assessment done on the demolition because we've decided to possibly leave 2 buildings that were included. The figure for the demolition was just a bit over $700,000. It's going to be considerably less than that because we're going to remove 2 buildings possibly from that demolition cost. And in that cost, they also included the removal of underground pipes, underground plumbing. And we've learned that we don't have to remove that. We can leave it there intact. So that cost will be removed as well. So the demolition cost will be considerably lower.
So
We're
Mayor,
trying to do the asbestos so that we can get this price. And if we don't vote for it, we'll continue to move forward.
So Mayor, is this under the scope of competitive bidding?
Yes, sir.
It is?
That was yes, that was competitive bidding. And he was the lowest bidder.
Okay, well, let me look at this again. I probably missed something. Give me a second to look. While you're looking at that, Mayor, let me ask Alderman Lockett if he's still good. I pledge to him that I'm.
Yeah, council members, the threshold for this particular project is so low. To get started on what we're trying to do, you're not gonna get anything low. Now, change orders are just a part of doing business. Now, it's very few projects that start out with a figure that end up with this figure. But this particular figure here is so low. I just can't see losing the opportunity to get some work done at a very reasonable cost.
There's no
And
competitive.
so that's why I'm in support of this, that of the figures that we're going to do, now ADEQ requires that buildings be abated for asbestos before they are demolished. So it's a step-by-step process because many people ask why we're doing it this way. But this is the first step in getting this project started, and I don't think we're going to get a price as low as what we have here.
But that's not our job as councilman. There's not competitive bids fund in this resolution. So we can't go thinking what we can't get. In order to prove to the people that we're doing the operating.
Use the mic,
There
please.
should be a competitive bids on this resolution.
Councilman, this was competitively bidded, man.
I mean, if
Alderman Brown, can you use the mic?
if it has been done in the past, then I should see it if we get ready to pass it here. And I don't see it. That's why I said, let me look back and tomorrow reading, see if I missed something. I didn't miss it. I think, man, you can't assume that we ain't gonna find a price better than we can do it, but there's a point in which we have to put people and be, and accountable to the people. You should do a better bid, so we would know.
you're saying we ain't gonna find anybody with a lower price.
Now,
I
Madam
don't-
Mayor,
I
what
don't
was the
have those
process?
figures
Did
before
we-
me. William, do you have those in the office? Do you remember what they were? We do have those.
But they should have been on, if we're gonna vote on it, it should be here. So I would ask this question.
What's our lowest bid?
Okay, Madam Mayor, we were not presented with the bids. Was that
We
happening?
don't
in-
normally do that. We
Okay.
usually just go with the lowest bidder. And
This was the
sometimes
lowest
they've been
bidder?
touched.
But I've seen a lot of our resolutions, the ones that were we passed.
Sometimes they are attached, sometimes they're not.
Exactly, they.
Not always.
Yes. But somehow you will get it in this time, but it's somewhat different. I just believe that we gotta be transparent with you, do things the right way. No, mainly strong objection of the way how we run the process.
Is there any other discussion? Any other comments? If not, let's vote. If you're not comfortable with the way it's been presented or with the amount, then let your vote so speak. All those in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
No?
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays,
Let's go with aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander. No. Councilmember Brown Senior,
No?
Councilmember Shamer.
Resolution passes 6-2.
Agenda item
Thank you.
number 5, a resolution to create a group violence intervention GVI director and for related purposes.
Whereas juvenile mischief and acts of violence is a growing challenge in the Pine Bluff community, and whereas the Jefferson County Sheriff, Jefferson County 6th Division Circuit Court Juvenile Division, Pine Bluff Police Chief, Washington County School, and Pine Bluff School District Administrators, and Southeast Arkansas Behavioral Health Representatives are leading the Group Violence Intervention Initiative, formerly known as GRIP, to combat juvenile violence. And whereas a juvenile violence intervention director should be created within city government to work with a team with other project partners to provide day-to-day coordination and management support to group violence intervention. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, there is added to the Police Department position of Group Violence Intervention Director consistent with the attached job description. Section 2, job description and proposed annual salary of $65,000 for the new position plus benefits shall be submitted to the Administration Committee for review and recommendation to the Council. Section 3, the 2022 budget is hereby amended pro rata to add the wages and benefits for the position of the Group Violence Intervention Director in the Police Department budget in the amount of $500,000, inclusive of salary, benefits, and expenses associated with this position. The Pine Bluff Police Department shall take into account said position for preparing its budget for 2023 and each year thereafter not to exceed 5 years. The source of funding for this position shall be allocated from the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Section 4, upon approval of the job descriptions and salary range, the position will be advertised as per normal procedure.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that a resolution to create a group violence intervention director and for related purposes be approved. The floor is open for discussion.
Mayor,
Councilmember Alexander.
I don't feel comfortable supporting this or number 6, and my reasons is I don't see the measure for success. I'm not comfortable with putting a position under our PD's umbrella that's making more than our lieutenants and that's competitive with our deputy chiefs. Being that our police department has over 15 open slots, wouldn't it be better if we use those monies for the position and then fund a plan that the person in this position comes up with? And I ask that because this is a one-time pot of money that we're getting, that we got because of COVID. And it would make more sense to me to use that money towards infrastructure and capital needs purchases rather than a temporary position for 5 years. Not that I'm just against it. I don't like the pot of money that we're using for it when we have some money in other slots that we could be using. Thank you.
No, ma'am.
Council member, I think I saw his hand
Okay.
first before I heard your voice.
What?
So Councilmember Brown Senior and then Councilmember Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. My whole discussion was this. Initially was that we're in September, which is at this point mid-September, and we are gonna do budgets beginning foreseeable next month, November, and if we, December, and we run into some shortfall in January, early January. So we are 3/4 the year old, and we wanna open a position for, and then I didn't see a price on it either. When we were in administration committee, that was my take on it, that if this was important, then it should have already been done. But it looked like somebody just sit around and said, okay, there's $500,000 over here, let's go and open up a director's position. Evidently, you've been getting along without the director for 3/4 of this year, and all of a sudden now you want to do it. So what I suggested is that we discuss this during the budget. But I listened to and I heard what Alderwoman Alexander said, and it makes the best of sense. So I basically ditto what she said, but I do know that it should not take place now. This is not the time to even consider this. And even if it is considered, it should be done during our time of budgeting. We've over the year now. Why would we do that right now? So I really wish that, and I did make the statement, I wish that the rest of the city council would try to understand that thought, that whether you want this or not, that it should not be done at this time. It should be done during budget time. We discussed this, not now. 3/4 of the year is gone. And, you know, if we do it now, within 30 days, somebody come up and say, oh, we see another 100,000, or we need to create a position over here, or we're gonna do this. I am all for helping law enforcement, troubled and all that. I'm for that. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh, I'm against something. I think this is not the right time, and it may not be the right place to spend that money, but certainly not the right time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lockett.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to put all clear to the rest that this money is being allocated from a discretionary account that was given to us by the federal government to do these kinds of things. However, if other pots of monies come available, we can always adjust. So it's not carved in stone. But I just got to say that to all involved with making this initiative, this is not something that just started. A group of individuals from the community, including our juvenile judge and some service providers, the superintendents, they had been awarded a $300,000 grant about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. So this is only adding to the pot. Now my vision is this is a great start. This $500,000 over five years, but I'm looking forward to other grants to be applied for, other monies to be given by the federal and state authorities to do things like make our schools and streets safe, that'll grow this money in such a way that before we know it, that I envision that not only will it be a $500,000 saved for 5 years, that this could grow to be a $500,000 on an annual basis if certain grants can be had. And I just got to take my hat off to the mayor and all people that are trying to give our police department some help. Because my thing is that crime in Pine Bluff, violence in Pine Bluff is not a police problem, it's not a school problem, it's not a community problem, it's all of our problems. And only through a comprehensive approach like such, hiring this coordinator to begin the wheels to turn.
So if I may ask you, so what have we been doing all year?
Excuse me. Councilmember Lockett, had you finished?
Yes, ma'am, I am through.
So with all due respect, Councilmember Brown Senior, Councilmember Holcomb, I'm sorry, Councilmember Whitfield.
Very good.
Very good. Okay, I have really toiled with this because two things I've already said is on this council, that no chief will say that they asked for something that I didn't give them or didn't have a question or concern about or tried to provide. But I've got one question, Mayor. Can I ask Judge Brown to step up? Judge Brown. Can he?
Judge Brown is here.
Yes,
Judge
ma'am, he's
Brown.
there.
Do you mind coming to the podium?
I always just wanted to tell the judge to please approach. That's just something I always wanted to say. I got one simple question, Judge. I've been trying to be back with me all these years.
Yes, sir. I just always wanted to say that, so I got that in before I left this council. My simple question to you is that, and I worked with you in the past, I know how important and your heart goes out to the juvenile. In your heart of heart, you feel that this position is so much needed at this time in this job? Yes, sir. He asked a question. He asked a question just like a lawyer would teach. He just said yes. That's all. That's all the question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right.
He answered that. Mayor, if I may. I'm through, Mayor.
Make it short, Councilman Brown.
Make it short. We having a meeting, so I'm telling you, make it short. I don't appreciate nobody telling me that.
Make it short.
I am. I asked the person, what have you been doing all year? And I wish that you would respect us, that we have a budget, and we are the people that deals with the budget. Why would you ask for a position when we're about to go in budget proceedings? That makes the best sense in the world. I'm not against whatever that we're trying to do. I'm just saying it does not make good tax dollar municipal sense, city council sense to do this, and we finna start budget next month or the month after, whenever we decide, but it is budget time. So that's why I wish that I probably won't have that kind of influence on this city council. I wish that I did. But I wish that we consider the fact that budget is around the corner. Not that we're kicking this to the side. It's just that it should be dealt with during the budget, not now. Because this week, we'll be doing the same thing next week with another position that somebody want to open. It's going to keep happening. And not only if it doesn't do it this month, it will do it in February, or it'll do it in March, it'll do it in April. We have to stop and say, we're going to do budget at budget time. We're going to create positions, and we're going to cut or do whatever we need to do at budget time. I am a budget person. And I think that that's what we should do.
Thank you so much. You've made your point. If there's no more discussion,
Yes, Mayor.
let's vote.
After I speak, thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Mays.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel like it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I would like for the person, male or female, who gets the job to report to the city council every 30 days so we can stay on top of what's going on with this.
So are you micromanaging the person?
Well, I just want to make sure this is a serious issue in the city of Pine Bluff.
We can make sure that they report. We don't know on what frequency. Can't say that it might be
Well,
30 days. We
you
don't know
see,
what the scope, how that's going to
This
look.
is
when we move
an
forward.
issue,
But we
a
can
serious
take-
issue. If we don't fix this issue now, it's going to get. I think it's worse already, but it's going to get worse.
So are you saying you want us to redraft this and
No, we can
that?
we adults, we can do this and say this. Just person can come to the city council meeting, or just send us some paper to see, really get an idea of what. They're not just sitting around. This is serious business for our city. If we don't address it now, like we stopping and addressing it now, it's going to be a big issue 2 months from now, 3 months from now. This, if you just, that's why they came. They came looking for an answer from the city council. And that's what we're here for. I just want reports on it because I'm not going to support something that's not working. We got to have something that's working. And I believe this here will work in the city.
Thank you, sir. If there's no more discussion, let's vote. All in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander.
No.
Councilmember Brown Senior,
No.
Councilmember Shainer.
Aye.
6-2.
Resolution passes 6-2.
Agenda item number 6, a resolution to allocate services to fund the Group Violence Intervention Initiative, GVI, in the city of Pine Bluff.
Whereas the city of Pine Bluff is committed to addressing the emerging group violence problem, Pine Bluff has identified group violence intervention as its approach to address the concerns of youth violence because it balances accountability with intervention. And whereas the Jefferson County Sheriff, 6th Division Circuit Court, Pine Bluff Police Chief, Watson Chapel, and Pine Bluff School District Administrators, South Arkansas Behavioral Health representatives are leading the Group Violence Intervention Initiative, formerly known as GRIP, to combat juvenile violence. And whereas the city has received several $1 million from the state of Arkansas in the Arkansas Rescue Plan Act to meet the challenges to municipal government resulting from the economic disruption caused by COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas combating juvenile mischief and acts of violence is a crucial component to the municipality's safety and economic prosperity, and monies available should be used to achieve this end. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1. There is hereby appropriated from the Arkansas Rescue Plan Act funds received by the City of Pine Bluff from the state of Arkansas the sum of $500,000 to be budgeted exclusively for the salary, benefits, and incidentals associated with the newly created position GVI Director within the Pine Bluff Police Department. Section 2, funding for the aforementioned position shall not exceed 5 years and or the exhaustion of the monies allocated for the position without further approval by the City Council.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that a resolution to allocate resources to fund the Group Violence Intervention Initiative in the city of Pine Bluff be approved. The previous resolution, number 5, was passed to create the position. Number 6 is a resolution to approve funding for the position.
Mayor,
Are there any questions or comments? Councilman Brown?
I just wanted to say I'd like to add as a sponsor for number 5 and number 6.
Brown Jr. would like to be added as a sponsor of numbers 5 and 6. Would
Hope.
anybody else like to be added?
Holcomb, 5 and 6.
Shaner, 5 and 6.
City Council Mays 5 and 6.
Nays 5 and 6.
May I say this?
If you promise not to speak anymore afterwards.
Well,
This resolution.
the thing about it is, we have to do something now. We have to do something now because 3 months from now, really we too late. A lot of the juveniles are really making bad decisions. And we, as a team of legislators, have an opportunity right now to curb all that. Thank you for your ears.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or discussion in reference to resolution number 6? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor of resolution number 6, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Roll call, please. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wade,
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.,
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield,
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander,
No.
Councilmember Brown Senior,
No.
Councilmember Shainer.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-2.
Agenda item number 7, a resolution amending the 2022 original budget to implement employee step increase to reflect compensation for longevity and for related purposes.
Whereas the 2022 municipal budget fixed the minimum salary for Legal Secretary 1 in the City Attorney's Office at $30,138, and whereas the 2022 budget implemented salary increases based on the recommendations of the Johansson Salary Survey, which takes into account an employee's years of service in the computation of his or her salary. And whereas the survey recommends an increase in the employee's salary from the minimum step to step 1 once the employee has been employed for a minimum of 10 years.
Whereas because the employee in the Secretary 1 position will achieve 10 years of service in the city of Pine Bluff on October 1st, 2022, the salary for that position should be increased commensurate with step 1 in the amount of $35,161. And whereas the salary increase will be funded within the city attorney's office for the balance of the 2022 municipal budget. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the 2022 municipal budget is amended to implement the step increase for the salary of Legal Secretary 1 in the City Attorney's Office from $30,138 to $35,161 based on the recommendation of Johansson Survey beginning on October the 9th, 2022. The pro rata increase in the amount of $1,351.96, which is inclusive of salary and benefits, shall come from within the city attorney's budget for 2022.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's a moving properly second. That resolution amending the 2022 municipal budget to implement employee salary increase to reflect compensation for longevity and for related purposes be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Councilwoman Brown Senior.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is for the city attorney's office. So on last one we did it for the clerk's office. So we're gonna do it for everybody's office before this thing is over.
As they have.
I am a true city council member. I am a true municipal and a budget man. Why are we doing these things all over the year? Did I miss something? Does the budget, some budget starts in June and start in January, go from January to December. So did our budget change? Did our dates change? Because I'm trying to figure that out. Why are we constantly doing things in the middle of the year when it should be done at budget time? Now, I will lay odds to this. Some of those that did not agree with the clerks will vote for this. If you don't vote for any of it, then we don't have a problem. But if you're gonna vote for one, you should vote for the other. And it's just, it ought to be correct order not to do this until budget time. It ought to be correct order. Now let's just say this in the beginning. On last year in March, the mayor reframed her office. She reorganized her office after the budget. And there were some people, was that last year? It wasn't this year, I think. It may have been this year, I'm not sure. However, it was in March, one of those years. And it was complained that shouldn't happen right after budget, which was 3 months right after budget. It was like the idea was laying there before the budget was passed, but you only brought it up after the budget in March. Okay. Now, there's two things there. One, it should have been done during the budget before, or should have been done with the budget afterwards. But we talked about that. There was going to be a can of worms open, and those worms are crawling all over the floor now. And I don't even fish with worms, and I'm a fisherman. So it looks nasty to me.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Yes.
I think this is different. It's my understanding that her employee has reached her tenure to get her step increase. Because we voted for the salaries, and if they reach a certain amount of time, they get an increase in their salary.
I'm understanding that. All I'm saying is that budget is right around the corner. That's all I'm saying.
We would still have to, what is it, prorate?
It would just make sense to do it at budget time.
Well, it may have to be done retroactively, but
That's the word.
what we're trying to achieve, when it was initially passed, it was anticipated that we realized by the employees. It was an oversight that we did not, because in the upcoming year, those people will reach those milestones. It will be included in the budget.
All I'm saying is that it just got caught up. It should be done during budget time.
But it anticipated by the
I remember y'all talking about Johan. Councilmember Brown. Who you compare us to with the Johan? Who you compare us to? We're like floating out there by ourselves.
If there's no more discussion, let's vote.
Councilmember Brown, this went before city, you're on the administration committee. It went
Exactly.
before administration committee.
I don't remember voting for it though.
All in favor?
All right,
Resolution number 7. All in favor of resolution number 7, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays. Councilmember Hope.
No, y'all, I was gonna say something. This position is doing a lot of work for the city. And I think that it's deserving to give a increase. Thank you. Don't stop me, don't stop me when I'm talking. I didn't say that, I wasn't speaking, I wasn't speaking.
I apologize.
Thank y'all.
I do apologize.
You know, all the ones that had the seniority, y'all respected. I want the same respect as of now.
I
Let's not
apologize.
forget that. I respect all of you all.
Sometimes.
I apologize.
Well, I hold my ground where I'm at too. But I'm just saying, she deserves a raise. And I feel like we need to vote for it and respect her. You ought to go by the office of them, watch her work.
Mayor, what I'm saying is all of the talk doesn't change anything. So let's just vote so we can move on.
It's not that I don't think she should get a raise. I just think this should be done at budget time. So let's do it like that, because I want to say, oh, he don't want nobody to get a raise. I just think things ought to be done in order.
You did say that. We
Thank you.
appreciate that, and we heard you. We heard you very loudly and very clearly. So now, let's start over. Let's vote.
Again, I agree with you, Councilmember.
Your minds are clear, so we can vote.
Again, Councilmember Mays, I agree with you. She is deserving of it, and I apologize to you. Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr. Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Whitfield.
Aye.
Councilmember Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
No.
Councilmember Shaner.
Wait, just a minute. I'd like to change that vote to present.
Present.
Resolution approved, 7-1.
Motion
What's the
to-
difference between present and no or
It's still
I'm
considered
here.
a no vote.
And I could be neutral to the idea. We got to present.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second that we adjourn. All in favor?
Ask
Okay, our
Obama.
meeting is adjourned.
7:02
We have one
p.m.
person on the agenda to speak after.
I believe.
This is a speaker on a non-agenda item. The speaker is, the speakers are, there are two, a couple, Judy and Benny Hemphill. They're wanting to speak on neighborhood assessment, cleanup, and noise. Mr. and Ms. Hemphill, will you step forward to the microphone?
Who made the motion to adjourn
Hold on.
and second?
Lock it.
I made the motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Hemphill, which one of you will speak first? You can take the mic down and pass it to your wife if she's speaking first, or you can even hold it yourself.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Let me start off by saying thank you for allowing us to address the council. I'm here on behalf of my husband, Benny Hemphill, and myself. I'm Judy Hemphill. We reside at 2200 South Mulberry Street, and we live in a neighborhood full of potential. We have only lived in Pine Bluff for just over a year now, hailing from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We retired to what we believe to be a quieter environment. This neighborhood, once again, is so full of potential, but it needs help. I look at the abandoned houses, the lots that need to be cleaned, the homes in need of repair, and just someone to care. The streets with the potholes erroneously done or done with inadequate materials. Unfortunately, the quieter lifestyle has not been the case. We are learning to love where we live, but dire changes are needed. Although the potential for the neighborhood is great, it is unfortunate that blasting your music from sun up into the wee hours of the night into the morning seems to be the norm. We noticed in August of last year that the gathering place for anyone who wanted to drink and play their music, which is their prerogative, was next door to us. It is their prerogative until it interferes with my family's quality of life. We try to be respectful and only ask that we receive in kind. We did ask if they could turn the music down, and they did, but only to be assaulted over and over again with their car speakers and whatever they were using to disturb our peace. In September of 2021, I did call the police and I asked if there was something that could be done, at which time I was told they could play their music until midnight. So we've suffered with this for over a year. In the past few weeks, we have been playing gospel music, which is what we choose to listen to, because again, that's our prerogative. Yes, it was loud. So one of the gatherers called the police, stood in front of our house, held her phone up so the officer on the other end could hear the music we were playing. Once again, it was gospel. They didn't like that. A patrol car came out, parked in the middle of the street, and one of the officers got out, respectfully came to the door, asked us to turn our music down, and said he would talk to the neighbors about theirs as well. We did as we were asked and watched him go back to the car. We noticed when he got back to the car, he was getting in to leave. We went to the door and asked if they were going to talk to the neighbors. There was a heavyset officer driving, said we needed to worry about the big A speaker we had on the side of our house, and if he had to come back, he would be issuing us a citation. So we started moving up the chain of command. We spoke with the mayor's office, and we were told there was nothing the mayor could do, but we were given the noise ordinance, aldermen's names and numbers, chief of police, and the assistant chief of police numbers. And for that, we say thank you to the mayor's office. So we tried calling the chief of police, left a voicemail, did not get a response, called the assistant chief of police, left a voicemail, and he called back after 3 days. He spoke with my husband in what seemed to me to be a very condescending tone, but a patrol car came out and rolled right on by. A second one came out after we called back. They came out and they went in the other direction. The alderman did call us back and told us to speak to the police chief. So you can see how this just seems to be going in circles for us, and we're tired. We sent an email to the alderman saying we needed help and please come out and meet with us face to face. After all, we are new constituents, but we never received a response. This takes me back to what I stated at the beginning. How can we clean up the neighborhood with no assistance? We have people urinating on the side of the house, in front of the house by their cars, and in a few instances, defecating on the side of the house. This has to stop. Let's say this was your neighborhood. What would you do? It has to start with someone taking a stand. Well, in my case, I have to sit. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Now, we need some action. My address is 2200 South Mulberry Street. Like I said, we're new. We've only been here for a year. By churches, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
So you are Ward 1? Is that
Ward two.
Ward 2. Well, you're Ward 1.
Yes, ma'am. Now, I spoke with Ms. Hemphill. Ms. Hemphill. I'm Alderman Holcomb.
And I spoke with Mr. Hemphill, I'm Alderman Brown. So he talked to me one day last week, I think. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's that?
You use the mic, Mr. Hemphill.
I spoke with
Then
Dwight.
neither one show up to see what we was talking about. Even the back of the house fell out, supposed to be two-way in, one way out. The whole back fell off the house. We were trying to get to y'all, tell y'all this, but y'all didn't show up.
Okay.
Called me, did not return the call.
Okay. Well,
Let me make a suggestion to you.
Hold on, Councilman Brown. Hold on one second. The information that you and your wife gave me, Mr. Henfield, I translated to Chief Hadley. Did I not, Ms. Henfield? A police officer did they not come to your home?
Yes.
Okay. Was that issue not resolved?
No.
And so I tried to reach back out to you. I have not heard from you or your husband since that police officer came to your home. Once you gave me that information, you sent me a text message of everything that happened. And some of the details that you shared on tonight was not shared in that text message. And as soon as I got that information, I called Chief Hadley. And he said he was going to send an officer out to your home. And that's what I shared with you. I have tried to reach out to you, and you have not called me back.
I have not had a call. So how did you try to reach out to me?
You said you have not gotten what?
I didn't receive a call, so how did you reach out to me?
This is the first time
Did you ever come by like we asked you? Just to look? You said you would.
I actually rode by, so, and that's when I rode by the property. I've actually been over there a couple of times, and so when I saw what was going on, I actually contacted the chief, and they actually sent somebody out. And that may have been Friday. I'm not sure what day it was. One day last week, and they sent somebody out.
No one stopped one turn on 20th Street.
Mute the mic.
One police came, turned down 20th Street, we on 22nd, and he made a right turn. Why he make a left turn to get there? I'm standing on the porch watching, waiting for the police. Everybody on there, one passed by, he just rolled through. He kept going. He didn't say anything to anybody, just kept going.
Well, let me say this, if I could, Brown. Sir, ma'am, one thing I want to say to you is that when you call that number, 911 number, and the other number, I know you all from Milwaukee, I don't want you to think that you're actually talking to the police officer. You're talking to civilians. So it's a different avenue when you're doing it that way, and that's the right way to do it. The key to that is when you call up there, ask to have a supervisor to call you, and they will come by there. And I understand what you're saying, because what happened is when one officer comes, it's the other people had the music on, and then the next time you had your music on, a different officer came. So you're gonna get two different of opinion of what should be going on. So don't think that they're not really trying to do the job they need to do. It's just that it's two different shifts, two different officers, but if you ask for a supervisor.
Okay, so we did that.
Okay.
We got a card from one of the officers. We called, I think there's 3 numbers on there. We called all 3 numbers and we didn't get anything. And we're still dealing with it.
Let me try a different approach, guys. Do you all have a neighborhood watch in your area?
Yes,
They say we do.
they do. It's Central Park.
Okay. Now, have you all been able to attend any of the neighborhood watch meetings?
I have not.
Let's try this. Now, it's easier to address a problem if it's widespread. Now, it's more than one person that's hearing this music. And what I'm saying is that if we can get the neighbors to come as a group and address this problem, I think we can get it solved. I really do. I mean, I haven't received a call from you guys, but I know my council members struggle with trying to respond to everybody that reaches out to them. But I chair the neighborhood watch in my area, and neighborhood watches are effective because there's a group voice, and I want to see if we can try that. See if we can get you in touch with the local neighborhood watch organizer in your neighborhood to see if we can get this issue on the neighborhood watch agenda.
We'll try it. But
Okay,
like
I mean,
what if it was your neighborhood? What would you do?
what I'm saying, in my neighborhood, I got a mechanism. I got a neighborhood watch. And what I'm saying
What if
is,
it was right outside your house?
excuse me?
What if it was right outside your house in front of your door?
Yeah,
You gonna
yeah.
get a whole watch, or you gonna call someone else?
Yeah, I think you all are doing what most people would do. Only thing I'm saying is, you know, you come to the city council meeting, I'm offering a different approach that may get this problem solved. What I'm saying is, in many cases, we call on city councilmen, and the city council will call on the police, and the police will call on the patrolman, and everybody wants things to happen, you know, in real life time. But what I'm saying is some issues.
This has been over a year.
Well, what I'm saying is it's just getting on our plate. What I'm saying is this is the first time I've heard from you guys, so this is my first conversation. So what I'm saying is let's try the approach. What I'm saying is in this political realm that we are in, it takes a lot of bodies to get something done. In many cases, it looks like, you know, you call the alderman and he calls somebody and something just magically happens. But in many cases, it takes some more effort, and that's what I'm offering you. I'm not saying that I'm gonna give you this advice and walk away. I'll give you my card and you can call me and say, Lockett, this neighborhood watch approach ain't working either. But that's what I'm offering as a solution to what you're dealing with. I got Adley, I know the chief and the assistant chief, I can call them too. But they're supervising almost 100 people with a whole bunch of more problems, guys. And what I'm saying is, what I'm offering is a different approach that may get you what you want.
Excuse me. I tell you,
I commend you all for coming tonight. I want to say that because a lot of people would not come, and a lot of people, when they call the police, they don't want to be contacted. So sometimes, I'm not making an excuse for the police now, you know, so you don't know me, but I used to be the chief. But what happens is they'll say, tell them to drive by. So when you see an officer drive by, it's because 9 out of 10 citizens, when they call, they don't want the police to come knock on their door. And you all are saying, I'm saying, but see, most of our officers don't know that. If you don't tell that to the communications center, they're gonna drive by. If they don't hear anything, they keep going, and you'll be thinking they're not concerned. That's not what it is. They don't wanna make the bad guy know that you all called, but you all are saying, hey, I want some peace and quietness, and then it calls, let them know we called. But I think after tonight, you'll start seeing some different things going on.
and
Definitely.
thank you.
Let me say this to you. You're calling the police, and that's fine. But a person should be comfortable in their own home, and you should feel safe. You know, the police is one thing, but maybe, let's just do this. Maybe it could be a peaceful thing between you and your neighbor.
We've already tried.
You tried that? Well,
yes.
I just don't want you to be uncomfortable in your own home.
We were told that we should have gotten this information from the people we bought our home from.
I don't know where that goes, because if you pay taxes, you're entitled to safety.
Right.
So I don't know what that meant. Whatever that meant, I don't know.
Well, that came from someone or one of the gatherers.
That was not right. That, you know, you should be safe in
Hey.
your own home.
Excuse me. I gave you my card. You don't just call the police, and they're supposed to come there and help you all. I'm in the 4th Ward, Senior Alderman Stephen Mayer's in the 4th Ward, but you call the police, write down the time, get you a calendar, write down the time and the date, give it to me. That's their job, and they can get paid to do this stuff. Y'all sit right there talking, help these people. They asking for help, and I'll give them a long story. They don't want to hear that stuff. Really?
And they don't want to see the video. Do not want to see the video. I already tried.
Yeah, you always don't call. When you call y'all, they don't show up. Give me a call. You got my card, both of y'all.
Mr. and Mrs. Hemphill.
We are so sorry that you've chosen to move into our community and you're facing the problem with noise, pollution next door to your home. I did not know you were communicating with my office. They usually try to solve situations without getting me involved. From what you told me, they were very polite, they were acceptable as they could be. But now that you've gotten the attention of all of us,
We're going to do something to embrace you with a level of support that hopefully we can bring a resolution to this situation.
so we'll be on top of this starting tomorrow and days ahead. We'd like for you to keep us informed as to what's going on, and we'll stay on until we get you some help.
Okay?
Thank you all so much for coming to the city of Pine Bluff, and we're going to make you happy in your home.
Thank you.